Morning, guys. Well, today is a momentous day for me because it is it the 14th of January? Or 13th, it's the 13th of January, it's Thursday morning. And it's about 7:30, so actually a lot later than I had anticipated getting up this morning. But it is my first day of freedom in 2020, I almost said 2021 then, in 2022 I think, because if you saw my New Year video, you might have seen that one of the messages that I put up on the screen was that I looked hideous because I was actually coming down with COVID at the time. I just didn't realise. Yeah, a few days before I had a really bad sore throat and felt unwell, and I was convinced I had COVID because I just heard a lot recently that that's how it started. So the day that I had that, which was like New Year's Eve, I did 2 tests, one at lunchtime and then one in the early evening, because I'd heard that actually it can literally be as quick as that on your lateral flow test, which we have here in the UK, which we get 7 delivered to our house. We just keep on ordering them. But they're not as accurate because the lateral flows only show up if you've got COVID when it's like really virulent. So PCR is more accurate. But anyway, that's by the by. But I'd heard that like it can actually just be like a few hours for a test to change. And yeah, both were negative on New Year's Eve, so I was just like, oh, okay. And then I was kind of like wholly expecting to have COVID, and then on New Year's Day I kind of felt okay again. Like I had really like the very small remnants of a sore throat, and we'll come on to him in a second, but yeah, I felt kind of fine, so I thought, oh, it's just a blip, because sometimes I have like a sore throat one day or one evening and the next day it's gone. So I was like, oh, it's just one of those. Harry! 1 second. Our poor neighbour is just trying to put something in his bin and Harry can see him out of the window and he's just going nuts. As I said, I'll come on to Harry in a second. But yeah, so yeah, on that Sunday the 2nd, the day went on, I just was feeling more tired. I started to get then like quite stiff and achy, like joints, like fluey kind of feeling, and then it just progressed from there. And then on Monday I full on felt unwell, and that was when my lateral flows were coming back with like faint lines. But you can't get a PCR on the same day, or I couldn't anyway on the 3rd of January. So I stayed in bed that day, obviously due back at work on Tuesday, but I work from home, and James and I went and got PCRs on Tuesday the 4th of January in the morning. His came back negative, mine came back positive, which we already knew at that point. But yeah, anyway, so basically obviously I haven't left the house in 2022 basically, really. So today is the day I get to leave, but this is why it's, well, it was momentous anyway, but it's even more momentous because I've literally been testing positive every single day just done my test. And I was fully expecting it to still be positive because it's not like been a gradual decline. But that is negative. That is negative. I'm up later than I wanted to. I am actually going to go out now because I am going to take Harry for a walk. Harry is James's mum's dog and they're on holiday for like 3 weeks, and so he's living with us. And this poor dog arrived last Friday, and as I said, James tested negative on his PCR. And I think he thought it was invincible. But lo and behold, on Friday, sadly, he did start to get some symptoms, and he tested positive on Saturday, so he is still self-isolating. Harry arrived on Friday and has not left this house since then. Every time we put him out in the garden, being like, you know, go out, roam. This is the only escape you're gonna have outside of the house. He literally goes, does his business, and then he comes back at the door, and then if you don't open the door to him immediately, he like taps at it to be like, hello, I'm out here, let me back in. My door keys anywhere. You have to go out the back door, Harry, because Louisa can't find her door keys. Past 12 and I've not stopped. I've had meetings all morning. I've just come off my last one for the day, thankfully, so I haven't actually achieved any work yet today. I've just been in meetings and I didn't have any breakfast. I'm absolutely starving. I was going to make some lovely porridge today and share it with you guys, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow. It's like my favourite porridge to have at the moment. But yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to have for lunch. We're running low on bread, but I am actually allowed to go and get some now, which is exciting stuff. Little Harry is a little bit worn out, I think, from his walk. He's just not used to this kind of activity. Harry, are you gonna say hello to the camera? Yeah? Are you having fun at the Bluestone Villa? Very, very tired. I'm loving sitting here at the moment, so I'm not loving sitting downstairs working because I do find I do feel like the house feels cluttered when I do that. But I previously would always sit in the same spot, which had like the nicest background for like my video calls and stuff like that, and also it's closest to the plug socket. But I am trying to move around the seats because we obviously now have these new chairs. And I'm just conscious that if I'm using them every day at the moment to work, I don't want to be sat on just, they've got like a cushioned seat, and I don't want to sit on the one like all the time. So it's like that one maybe, I don't know, it gets more wear and tear than the rest. So I'm probably being silly, but anyway. So yes, I'm trying to move around the table a little bit, but I actually really love sitting in this particular spot. So I'm sat in kind of like the opposite corner to where, or the corner the other side of the fireplace. So the one that I was sat at this morning was where the pantry cupboard is behind me, so I'm now like at the other side. But it's so nice because it's got this like dual aspect view out into the garden, and of the church steeple, and it's actually a really beautiful day today. Like, it's just so sunny and bright and like kind of bluebird skies. I'll show you. It's just really pretty. Just, you know, good vibes, which sometimes in the UK does not happen, because I know everyone thinks it rains a lot here, and obviously it does, more so than probably you know, some other places. Oh, look at that cobweb. But yeah, it's one of those things that actually, it's not so much rain, it's just sometimes if it can be grey. Yeah, if it's grey, I kind of think that's a bit of a shame, and it can be a bit mood. Whoa, that is bright. It can be a bit mood, I can't think of the word, but yeah, it can just be a bit like not the greatest. But today is bluebird skies, and they must know that I'm released and allowed to live my home. Let me find a spot to put you. Are you gonna balance there? You're precariously balanced. Move this along slightly. On some candles. No, that is not gonna work. Balanced on some candles, it's not the safest of options. If James could see right now. Let me I just need something to prop you up on. Let's try this. It's called what Louisa uses for her tripod. Next. Perfect. It is Friday evening. Have I already said that? I'm not sure. I've definitely put you down a bit yesterday and today. I'm definitely still like learning how to vlog. But yeah, I've finished up work for the day. I do actually still have a few bits and pieces I might probably need to do over the weekend, sadly, but it's what it is. I wrapped up pretty sharpish at 5 just because I had an Aldi click and collect food shop to go and pick up. So I've done that. James and I are gonna have actually a very chilled night at home tonight. Obviously, because James is not allowed to leave the house anyway. Yeah, I would like to say we're just gonna completely chill now, but behind me is a bit of a mess. It's my dining room table, it's got all of my work stuff, it's got my YouTube stuff, like my computer that I use for that. It's got things that we used for like across the Christmas time that have been washed up that belong in a cupboard, that requires me like taking stuff out and putting stuff in order to fit it in. So I've done the lazy thing of it's just been sat on the dining room table behind me. Essentially, I've got a little bit of a sprinkling because otherwise, believe it or not, first time ever to have said it about the Bluestone Villa or even on the Bluestone Villa YouTube account, but got a pretty tidy house, guys. I know. No one is more shocked than myself. Actually, that's a lie. James is probably more shocked. But yeah, so I'm gonna tidy this up so it remains that way and that this room continues to feel nice like the rest of the house. I'm gonna do that, but before I do that, I have been really excited to try this thing that I'm hoping is gonna be really, really cool. It's actually a Christmas gift. I didn't know I had it until a couple of days ago. My parents dropped it here, like outside obviously. It just hadn't arrived in time for Christmas. It was something I asked for Christmas, and actually, interestingly enough, it is actually something I bought for another family member as well. I'm going to show you what it is and I'll explain like the reason behind it. Basically, it is this kit for homemade smoking cocktails. So many moons ago, in some may say another lifetime, I lived in New York City for a year. There are groans across the internet for the people that have heard me say that 8 million times. But I lived there for a year, actually almost 10 years ago. Basically in January 2013, this is gonna make me sound like such a geek. I went, it was the first Friday in January, I went with a really close friend of mine, Molo, if you're watching Molo. We went to this bar called the Wayland. Now, the Wayland I think is still there. It is in the Lower East Side of New York and it is possibly one of my favorite bars. I've not been there for many years now, but yeah, it's one of my favorite bars. We had this cocktail there called I Heart Banjos, and I think they still do this cocktail in this bar. So if you go to the Wayland in the Lower East Side of New York City anytime, like, you have to go and try this. And it was this cocktail that was essentially, it was whiskey and I feel like some kind of, maybe like an apple bitters or something. I can't remember exactly, but the thing that really made it like stand out was that it was this cocktail, but then it arrived with like another glass on top. And the glass on top had been filled with smoke, and then it was kind of put onto the cocktail. And the smoke, I think the wood chips they used was something like apple wood chips or something as well. I can't quite recall, but it was something like that. And it arrived like that, and what you were meant to do is you were meant to take the glass off and inhale the smoke, and then you were meant to sip essentially this cocktail, and the smoke was meant to really bring out the flavors, I guess. And I have always wanted to have something like that somewhere else, and I've thought a lot recently about trying to recreate that myself. For Christmas I started getting these ads, and to be honest, when I ordered it for my family member, I was slightly dubious as to whether I would ever receive this, but I can confirm we did both receive them. And it was by a company called Zenclay, and it is this cocktail smoking kit. So this arrived for me this week, and I'm gonna give it a try. I'm obviously not going to completely replicate the Wayland's I Heart Banjos because I don't have all the stuff for that. But I am going to do myself a lovely whiskey on the rocks, I think. And I'm gonna try and smoke another glass and put that inside and see if I can do that. Oh, if you could see what you are propped up on. There is no, I can't quite get the right angle. When I did my cocktail lives on Instagram, I did them in the dining room and I was set up all fancy schmancy, and maybe I'll do that one time with you guys, but tonight it is very much a low-key, just at home. So I've just opened up the box, and you get kind of a little thank you for your order card, and it gives some kind of like basic instructions which says, Step 1, add 1 teaspoon of the wood chips in your smoker. Step 2, using a butane torch / burner, burn the chips by making circular motions for 7 to 10 seconds. So I think when I looked at this, they had like one of these like blowtorchy kind of things, like one of these cooking blowtorches, but it said you could use like I think regular matches, which I was thinking I was going to do, but actually we do have, I need to get it from the other room, but we do have like a clicky thing that we use for the fire. And then step 3 is quickly close the smoker with the lid and leave to infuse for 5 seconds. And step 4 is remove the lid and enjoy. So they've given you like, I guess like mostly it's the smoker, right? But they do give you some like wood chips as well, but you can buy lots of wood chips from like loads of different places, because loads of people do that with like smoked meat and stuff now, so you can get some really cool ones. But this one that they've sent is pecan wood, and it says it's rich and nutty. So I actually love pecans. I'm assuming, does pecan wood come from, do pecans come from trees? Oh God, you shouldn't ask questions like this really on the internet, should you? And then you also then get, oh wow, you also get the actual smoker. So it's like it's kind of coming apart, but it's basically like this. So I think you probably put your wood chips in here. Sorry about this angle, guys. Oh, maybe you smoke it and then you put the lid on here and then you put that on the glass, because there are holes at the bottom here, so is that where the smoke comes out? Read the instructions, don't follow this video for how to do this. And then, what is this thing? What might we think this is for? It's like to do your eyebrows or something. Obviously, I know that's not what it's for here. I might need to have a look at, how does that work? I don't really understand what that last bit's for. There's not really any instructions otherwise, I'm not gonna lie. Let me stop going on and let me actually just give this a whirl, and let's just hope I don't set my house on fire, because James will kill me. So, I'm gonna take the pecan wood. Ooh. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. It's actually open. I mean, I'm sure it's not. I mean, I don't know what I think it's meant to smell like, but it just smells like damp. I mean, it's not damp, it's dry, but I feel like it doesn't really smell. Got 1 teaspoon. So I am gonna give myself, I'm not even gonna measure, I'm just gonna freehand this. Pray for me. I've got my lighter thing. Hopefully this is 7 to 10 seconds, it says. And then it says to, I don't know if that's doing anything. I can smell it. I just don't know if that's... I might do it a bit longer, you know. This could be a bust. Oh, there is smoke in there. You just can't see it. I'm just going to do it again. I'm actually going to junk this. So I'm worried now that this is like... Smells a bit cigarette-y. Which I don't think is really what you... I guess I just expected there to be more smoke in this scenario. And there isn't. But that's kind of... I don't know. It says to leave for 5 seconds. Only $26.99. So this is kind of how it arrived in the Wayland. But it was just totally full of smoke. And I don't really feel like this is what's happened here. But yeah, and then you were meant to do that. But anyway, let's see. Not sure I notice any difference. This possibly could be most disappointing. Right, after disappointing cocktail gate, let's tidy this dining room. I'm actually gonna round this vlog off shortly. I actually hoped to do this yesterday, but I just ran out of time. I've just come upstairs. It's kind of Saturday afternoon. I've just come upstairs to change out bed sheets. But before I close out, I really wanted to share some home updates with you. I've just got kind of like a couple little things, and they're quite unique vintage items. So I thought you might like to see what they are. And then in addition to that, I've got some other kind of home updates, a couple of things that I've bought recently, and also just some interiors updates actually for in this room that I'm sat in, that I thought you might be interested in seeing and kind of hearing a little bit more on. So in terms of this room, we are mostly done and we have moved in, as you all know, and I do actually have a room tour coming up. But one of the things that we are sorting at the moment are, well, is stuff for our windows. So we flirted with shutters for a while, but we have also been thinking about curtains or blinds, and we are actually now working with somebody, a lovely lady that runs Willowbert Interiors. I hope I'm saying that correct. She is a local like interior designer, soft furnishings person. I don't know what her official job title is, so sorry Chloe. So we've had a couple of meetings with her. She's come to the house first of all just to do a bit of kind of measuring up. We're going to go with curtains for our bay windows, so we're going to do curtains to the floor for that, and then for the sash window, which you are sat in front of right now, we're going to do a blind. I would have quite liked to have had a curtain there as well, but we do have the radiator just beneath it, so it just kind of makes more sense. So yeah, the first time she came around was just to kind of just be able to see the room properly and do some measuring up. And then the second time she came, she brought just a couple of sample fabric books. So I mean, like, the world is our oyster, I think, kind of. But she bought those just to get a bit of a sense and feel for us and like what we liked, our style, because to be honest, I didn't give her a lot to go on because I actually like so many different interior things. And we picked a couple that we really like. Now the thoughts around this is that patterned fabrics are a lot more expensive than plain, and obviously this is going to be a really expensive job in general. So yeah, what we might do, because I think it might be a little bit cost prohibitive otherwise, what we might do is one of the fabrics that we really like, we might have the blind done in that patterned fabric. And then Chloe was saying that basically with your curtains, if you can't afford to do like the whole thing, which can be the case a lot of the time, you could do it as the trim around it, so that would bring the cost down, but you're still kind of pulling it out from the blind as well. So I think if we definitely go with this particular fabric, then I think that's something we will probably consider doing. I think if we're happy with this, I think Chloe might like come up with some other fabric suggestions that we might like, just as like some other options in case there's some other things that might kind of catch our eye. But I thought I would share what we like at the moment. So she very kindly left this with us over Christmas, because we could just kind of set them up in the room and like see it in different lights and yeah, all of that jazz. Now I don't think I will necessarily go with this one, but I actually really like it. It's kind of a soft bluey grey with like a bit of a weird kind of graphic pattern, but it's not modern. It doesn't look modern, which I don't think would look right in here. What I really love about our room here is that I feel like it's elegant but still simple as well, and I very much want to keep that going. That being said, I don't want to be super boring with the curtains, but I also don't want to do anything too crazy, because if we're here for a really long time, which is kind of the plan, what I don't want to happen also is that you do something too crazy and then you can't change it. And then the fabric that we like is from Linwood. I've never heard of them before, but I don't know really anything about fabrics, so that's also why I've never heard of them. So I really quite like this one. It's possibly a little bit bright in here to show you, but it's kind of a muted, like creamy beige. It's got kind of a bit of a metallic effect to it slightly, and it's got good texture. It looks really elegant, almost a little silvery, but in a muted way. And then the one that I actually really adore, ignore this one, it's not that one, it's this one. Oh, I absolutely adore this one. Again, it's kind of got a bit of a metallic-y effect to it. It's kind of grey, but it's not grey. Like, I'm not a massive fan of like the grey interior thing. No shade to anybody that does and has a grey home, loves the grey interior thing, but like each to their own. It's just not really for me. I really love this, the one next to my head, just in case anybody's confused. And yeah, so we're thinking about having that or something like that as the blind that would go here where you are, and then using this as a trim around like a neutral coloured curtain maybe or something. So yeah, and then the other fabric that I really liked, but I don't want for my curtains because I just think it's something that is a bit more trend focused, and so as much as I like it, I feel like could it be the kind of thing that falls out of fashion and then you're like, why have I got my curtains in it? I like it, I just don't like it for my curtains. I think that's probably an easier way to say it. And Chloe had therefore then said that actually what she could do is she could make us a cushion or two in it for the bed. But I mean, to be honest, maybe I could, you know, it doesn't even necessarily have to be in here, but it's this kind of, is it leopard print? It looks a bit more garish on screen than it actually is in real life, but it's like a really soft, lovely blue. Again, it's like a velvet and it's a bit more like metallic-y. But yeah, this one here. I think that could work really nicely on the bed as some cushions though. So yeah, so I really like that. I have to say, that's the first time I've looked at that leopardy print one for a good few weeks, definitely since Christmas, and I can still see why I liked it, but actually I do think I like it less now that I've seen it, whereas the one that I saw that I really liked for the curtains, yeah, actually that's probably a better, so it's like these two that I really like, but this one in particular, so maybe actually the one I showed you originally is not maybe the one, maybe that's a more of a grey, maybe that was more of a grey, like a beige one. Oh, I'm very confused. Anyway, I might have said in another video that, well, I love Downton Abbey. First of all, I rewatched it in lockdown last year. Actually, it wasn't even in lockdown, I just watched it last year, rewatched it last year. I just fancied it. I hadn't watched it in ages and I put it on, and actually James sat down and watched it with me, and I thought for sure he'd just leave the room, but he really enjoyed it and got quite invested, particularly in Dame Maggie Smith's character. And every time she got sick across all the different series, he was like, if she dies, I'm not watching it anymore, so. But anyway, so yeah, so we've really heavily been watching that towards the end of last year. But my parents got me the Downton Abbey cookbook, which I'm really intrigued. I've been thinking a lot recently about trying maybe some like Victorian dishes. I was thinking it mostly around Christmas time, because actually a lot of what our Christmas dinners are in the UK anyway, I assume possibly the same in the States, but are kind of, I think, inspired from the Victorian times. So I am quite interested about like food history, I guess, and so I had been thinking about maybe trying my arm at one or two Victorian recipes, and yeah, I think these are like inspired by Downton Abbey in the Victorian times, but I think they're ones that have also like stood the test of time back in the day. Oh, it's sectioned out, so it's like upstairs and downstairs, so what the servants would eat as well. There's the different sandwich fillings they might have had for, like, you know, when they do like the afternoon teas on the lawn. And yeah, I'm just really excited, and yeah, I can't wait to try something from here. And then from James's mum, I got a couple of really beautiful like vintage home items that I thought you might be interested in. So first of all, I got this, which I thought was really cool, just the kind of thing I love. It's for use out in the garden, and it's like a crown, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I think it's one of those things that you could just put this in your, like, one of your garden beds, or you could also possibly grow things up it, maybe. Like maybe you could grow, it might be too small for sweet peas, but you know, you could grow something up it perhaps. But yeah, I really love that. So I need to get that out in the garden. And then the other thing, which I think is just, it's so unique, like it's not something I've ever seen before. It's not something I've ever thought of. And when I opened it, James's mum said, like, I'm sure James is not going to be happy about this, and he was like openly like, this is not something I like, but whatever, he doesn't get a lot of choice. Let me unwrap the first bit of it. Who got this for me? And actually, long before she gave it to me, she said she bought me something that she really loved, and she loved it so much that she went and got one herself, and it is this. Right, like, you're looking at it probably thinking, what are you showing me? So this is an old, I guess like industrial sized, is it like a cotton reel from a, I don't know what type of factory it would have been, like a cotton factory, I don't know, but like, or like a wool factory or something, I don't know. But anyway, in Manchester, I think she said it was from in Manchester, but she bought it in Whitstable in a vintage store down there. They had a number of them, but it's from, I'm trying to think what kind of factory it would have been from, like some kind of factory that maybe made clothes or something, and it's an old industrial kind of sized like cotton thread reel, just for argument's sake. So it's quite big, size of my head, and the purpose of it is to have a candle in it. Well, this isn't the purpose of it. This is the purpose that the shop was selling it as. And I think this will look great by a fireplace. I think Sue's got hers by a fireplace as well. The only thing they told me to be mindful of is because obviously this would have hooked onto something. There is a holes both end, so the wax can drip through. So they just said to maybe fill that with something that means that it doesn't drip on anything that you might have it on. But yeah, that is a really unique vintage find, and I love like the patina or pattern, yeah, the patina of it. It's all very quite rustic, and yeah, it's got elements of blue, so it'll probably go really nicely in our living room. Yeah, I thought you might like to see those. And then, oh, there's another item as well that's vintage as well. It is this. It's this little jar, and it says butter on the top. There's a little jar for butter. I guess really lovely to have on the breakfast table and stuff. I'm not sure what era it's from, but yeah, I thought that was a lovely little collection of a few bits and pieces that I've got over the last few weeks that you might be interested in. But I'm going to round this off here because I think actually I've already started editing this video and it'll be quite long probably. But really thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you enjoyed today's video and just enjoyed kind of spending time with us in our home for a couple of days. Yeah, trying to embrace our home during these wintry months. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing kind of some of our home updates and what have you. I think on that smoking cocktail, I can't remember whether I said this yesterday, I think I definitely need the the food blowtorch, which when I was looking them up, I think you can get them for like under £20. So I'm going to invest in one of those. So yeah, maybe I'll give you an update as to whether it worked once I got that. But the video I saw for somebody else's, it looked totally different, and they used one of those. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you back here at the Bluestone Villa next time. Take care guys, bye.